And I want to welcome you to another episode of Beyond the Surface Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer. And today I want to talk about the value of an apology. I shared with you about the woman who was a friend of my husband's who has some sort of impulse control, has been very much misled. I don't know really completely even what her issues were because I don't know her, but who got up there and put this hostile post up that implied that, I didn't care for his children and that somehow or another I placed Gia above the Ghanaian children, which was all poppycock, is a complete lie. Nonetheless, it's been some days, and as you know, I kept that post, and various people have fallen onto that post to say, no, the Dr. Wanda we know, we have no idea what you're talking about, and, to really just say lovely, wonderful, honest things about our relationship and primarily about the work. So today, my husband finally got the courage to apologize. He got the courage to apologize on that thread, which I thought was very vital because people are still, like I told you, I didn't take it down, so people are still coming there, they're sharing, they're looking at it, and some of them are just in shock. They can't believe that they see that. But to date, his voice hasn't been there. And so he took his time, and he got up and he quietly sat down, and this is what he wrote. I must first of all apologize to my wife and everyone on her social media platform who has been affected one way or the other by a recent post on her thread by Charmy Childs Olsen. Charmy has always been encouraging with her words anytime she sees my posts on what my wife is doing with Ghanaian children here in Pone. I was so shocked to have seen what she put out there on the post that everyone is celebrating. Let me be clear on this. I always have issues with my wife for entertaining children in our community in our living room. Most times, some of these kids come with dirty clothes without taking their bath, but she opens our doors for them to enjoy our room to a point that the landlord has to inform me to stop them from coming. But this has never deterred some of them simply because they have been loved on by a complete stranger who keeps feeding them, paying for hospital bills, buying clothes and shoes for them, organizing activities, and so on. Wanda Evans-Brewer works and loves for these kids blows my mind. I don't like social media banters and hardly post about my children here on Facebook, but my so-called friend got it completely wrong on that stepchildren comment. Let me finish with this one. My wife and I have given out brand new book bags to children here while our daughter Gia was going to school with a torn book bag. Everyone who's affected by my friend's comments, especially my wife, should forgive her. So it takes a lot of courage, one, to admit that you're wrong. It particularly takes a lot of courage to put your ego aside and step forward and to the best of your ability, express your apology. My husband's apology is his apology. I respect him. I told him I'm very, very proud of him. It's not necessarily the apology that I would have given. I was honest with him. I said, I cannot tell you that myself or my network will forgive her. You're a little bit further along in that process than at least I can speak for sure for myself than me. But I really, really respected him for sticking his neck out into, the hornet's nest and saying, look, this is the truth. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, and I didn't expect her to do this, and she's my friend, and I've been private about some things with her, and she got it wrong, and she hopped on my wife's post, and she said some stuff that she shouldn't have said. So with that, I can tell you that it gave me some hope that there's some growth in my husband. The thing injured me in a different kind of way. Who wants to be in a relationship with a man that's running his mouth behind your back in any sort of derogatory manner with a woman that's a friend, or even if it's a woman that he's flirting with. Like, keep my name out of your mouth. And the work speaks for itself. You can direct people to, my Facebook page. You can direct them to YouTube. I have a website, but there's no reason for anyone to have any sort of hostile, hateful complaints. And so I said, listen, the apology, I needed it. I needed it because it did what apologies do. And the value of an apology, the first value is that it repairs. Our relationship was torn. The folks who have been following us in coupleship with the work here, their relationship with him is damaged. Who is this man that we have sent our doctor to be with that is this careless with her in this work? So apologies help repair relationships by getting people talking again, making people feel comfortable again. And another thing is, when it comes from a very, very sincere place, and that that pride goes to rest, then what it does is it gives a confidence that there's some growth and that the individual doesn't have an intention of being a repeat offender. I've explained to my husband, I said, listen, we can't do this one again. I don't want to go through this one again. You need to be mindful. You need to have value in your wife. You need to understand that you don't have an average wife, and this is not an average work. So some of these conversations that you're having and some of these people that you're meeting, you have to vet them better. You have to sort through them better. And of course, even an abuser, this is one of the age-old things with women that get into relationships in domestic violence. If the man came with a tag, with an identification card that said, I beat up women, the woman would never date him. Of course, they come with the representative. They come cloaked. They come in wolf's clothing. So I said, listen, in sheep's clothing. You have to vet. You have to do forensics on these people before you let them close in your inner circle like that. And most certainly protect me. I'm away from home, 6,000 miles away from home in a foreign nation amongst the people that I don't even speak their languages. Don't unleash any sort of demonic spirit toward me. In fact, if you feel that that individual is turbulent, it's probably good reason for you to back out of the relationship if you're not going to be a praying friend. There are people that come to us and they need us to be in their life simply to pray. Any sort of demonic force has to be broken. You have to help break that force. If you're not in the game to break that force, you need to come out of that because you don't know what you're doing. You unleash something on someone that you love who is doing a pure work, and it just wasn't fair. And then whatever impression you're giving about your personal life is skewed. There's nothing like the truth. There's nothing like standing in your own truth. And even scripture tells us that the truth sets you free. So an apology has been issued. It's been publicly posted. It will sit there. I'm very, very proud of my husband. I appreciate his courage and his wisdom to understand that, this wasn't going to be a hiccup because it was riveting too deep. And that he, on his own, without me being a nagging wife or pushing or prodding, got up and wrote his apology, on his own terms. So, the value of an apology. The value of an apology is that it repairs. So I will tell you today, we have repaired this aspect of our relationship. Okay. You've been listening to Beyond the Surface Radio. This is your host, Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer. And until we meet again, be safe in God's grace.